Good morning. Welcome to A Few Minutes with Margy. I'm Margy Lyman. I'm with Downtown Real Estate Group, and this is my new good friend, Rolla Ghaben, and she is the proud owner of several restaurants here in beautiful downtown Walnut Creek, and has a very warm history. Started by her father, and is carried on by you and your siblings. So, welcome.
Thank you. Thanks for having me.
Absolutely.
And coming in and visiting. And
We are, by the way, at Broderick, which is on the corner of Bonanza and Locust, right in downtown, across the street from Lita, another restaurant that the Ghabens own. And so tell me, let's start with your childhood working in restaurants and your dad.
yeah, those are found memories that, kind of get embedded in your life, and, these are memories that you don't forget. But yeah, Dad was in the hospitality restaurant industry all his life. He was a world traveler, spoke like 4 different languages.
Wow.
He was an amazing man. He loved people and loved telling his stories and sharing his life and family with everyone else. He was an amazing person. We came to this country in the early 80s, or no, late 70s, I can't remember. And kind of got right into it.
You were over by Nordstrom's originally.
So,
first job.
yeah, we had the Hof Braus.
Wow.
Back in the 80s. Those are the memories that.
Very popular. I have memories from
Really?
Yes.
Oh my gosh! Yes, that place was home in a lot of ways. I have 2 siblings, an older and a younger. Mike is my older sibling, and then David is my younger sibling, and we all worked in the business through high school, and both boys decided to go away to college, and so they kind of left for a little bit. I decided to stay local, so I stayed local and went to college here and still worked with Dad. So I probably had the most years working with him, under him, him teaching me the ins and outs, and really just watching the way he was with people and his passion about this industry. Of course, I didn't appreciate it then. I thought he was cuckoo. I'm like, oh my gosh, he's just crazy. Like, oh, right? Like my children probably think of me, like, oh my gosh, my mom is just so, so over it, whatever. But my dad was that person. We would watch him just work his butt off, but build relationship with guests and watch.
You told me that there weren't many people in Walnut Creek who he didn't know.
No, a lot of people knew who he was and knew him not because, he owned it, but because he was always there. The way he greeted them, made them feel. It was just, the passion that you just don't see anymore. Unfortunately, things have changed, obviously, in our industry, but and I think that's how we get it from him. We all went to college, got our degrees. Both boys went and worked for other companies. I got married instead and had my kids and still worked in the business. Got my degree, but never really left. Just kind of stayed in it and worked alongside of him.
So what happened after the Hof Braus? I know that closed in the 90s?
So it closed in August of 2001.
Okay.
And my dad was one of those business people that very old school, shake of a hand was kind of his way of, we did a huge big remodel at the Hof Braus. Thought we were going to be there for some more time, but it didn't happen. So he ended up retiring, which was probably a good thing. And but at the same time, we had HubCaps, which was here.
Right. Everybody knows HubCaps.
Yeah. So he retired from there. Mike and I were here running it. Mike was had like a real job during the day, came at nighttime to help out.
And then HubCaps transformed into Broderick, where we are right now.
Yeah, that was in 2015. So we had been here at this location since 86.
Wow.
And then in 2015, we had decided that it was time to kind of either remodel HubCaps and do like a different maybe concept, or just come up with a totally new concept. And that's what we did in 2015.
I mean, Broderick's been around a long time. It's a very well-known restaurant, and but it has a very high standard of food and customer service. So you felt that was a great model for you?
For sure, we wanted something that was hip and cool, and I'm not saying HubCaps wasn't, because HubCaps was, but it was on a different level.
Yeah.
We have a full bar here. It was different. It was, look, and also the clientele and Walnut Creek was changing at that time as well.
Smart.
So we saw the direction of where things were going in our community. We had been here for a long time as kids and now young adults, and we felt like Broderick would really excel and do well in Walnut Creek.
So I want to ask you a couple of questions about some of the other restaurants you own, and then you've told me a little bit about your relationships with your employees and how loyal they've been to you, and some of them have been here for decades. And I want to dive into that, which is probably one of the reasons why customer service is so excellent at all your restaurants. But tell me a little about some of the other restaurants that you and your brothers own.
My brothers and I are a franchisee of Original Mel's.
Okay.
So when we had HubCaps here for a long time, we also acquired the one in Walnut Creek back in 2003.
Wow.
And then we continued to expand on that. We've expanded in the Sacramento region. We've opened new locations of Mel's throughout the years. So we had these two going for the longest time, but when we changed HubCaps and kind of got out of the diner scene to a little bit more of a hip concept, our cousins, we partnered up with our cousins, and then after Broderick, we had opened up Batch and Brine with them in Lafayette.
Wow. Yeah, great spot.
Yeah, which was a year after Broderick. And then, we continued to kind of grow our own concepts alongside with our cousins. So it's people always say, oh, there's so many, restaurants. Yeah, my brothers and I are on the, the Broderick and the Mouse side, and then we ventured out and partnered up with our cousin into our own concepts of Lita, Batch and Brine, and then my cousin Victor did the Hot Boys, which we also partnered up with. So it's been a cool adventure. It's, but what you learn from the roots, what we've learned from childhood, watching our father being in it, and also expanding as the three of us siblings, what we've learned and how we did things are, the way we've done them in the years. You've learned the successes and the failures, right? You learn the goods and the bads, right? Mm-hmm. But it's taught us to have that same passion as our father. It's not easy.
That's fantastic.
And you really have to own it. I mean,
So
it's your baby.
You're very deeply rooted in Walnut Creek. I mean, it's my feeling that you guys really have your finger on the heartbeat of what's going on in this town, and it's changed a lot just since I've lived here, which is the early 90s. And I would think that your father and now your family and your extended family are all sort of keeping your hand on the pulse of this part of the East Bay.
Of course, first it's home for us. And I've said this for a long time, I want to say maybe 15 years, Walnut Creek is the mini San Francisco.
Yet,
without the bridge and without the water, right? It's on a smaller scale, obviously, but this is who we are. Yeah, our dining scene is expanding, and it's not as intense as San Francisco, but we have it all here. We have the shops, we have the theater, we have the beautiful downtown. There's so much
great weather and the beautiful scenery,
and all the little boutiques and the moms and pops and
yeah.
the restaurants that are getting elevated, And yeah, and we're seeing that now. We're seeing, you know, the downtown living, and it really is a little mini San Francisco, but without the bridges and without the water. And
Yeah.
we've seen that coming in 15 years, and it's happening, and it's going to continue to grow. Which
It is.
I'm happy about.
Yeah, with fabulous hospitals, with you know,
really
great
is.
neighborhoods that are all very diverse and different. So, and your employees, some of them you've told me have been here for years, so they have seen the changes that you guys have made too, but have kept their heart with you and your brothers and family.
Yeah, I mean, I think the most important part of this business is having that relationship between you and the people that stand right next to you throughout this journey, right? Because without them, we wouldn't be able to do what we do every day.
Yeah.
And without their commitment to us and our commitment to them, there's no way. It's a relationship that needs to, you know, grow and prosper. And yeah, I mean, we have people that have been with us for 20 plus years.
Yeah.
So
What are the goals for the next 20 years? 5?
I know, we're all getting up there, and I'm getting up there too. I think just to continue to try to perfect the business that we're in. It's harder and harder as we continue on, and of course, COVID has kind of put a dampen on this industry. And how do we continue to try to execute the best possible way we can? And that's always been our biggest priority to our guests, and making sure that we're taking care of our staff. I mean, this guy right here, he's been with us for 25 years.
That's fantastic.
So,
That's great. And he's here before opening and everything else, getting everything ready for the crowds that are coming for today and the rest of the weekend.
Yeah, so it's and again, you see these people more than
You see your
own
family.
Like,
we go home to sleep.
Yeah.
We come here to be with them.
I've seen their kids grow up. They've seen my children grow up. They've seen my kids being babies, and you know, it's a really special bond that, you know, that you want to hold on to as long as you possibly can, because that's what makes this still fun.
Yeah.
Does that make sense?
Yes, the relationships. Yeah.
The relationship that you build, the relationship with your team, them caring about you, about the guest and the restaurant, us caring about them and their well-being, and so it's a two-way street.
Well, I want to give a shout out to you and the restaurants that you've owned. I've patronized all of them, and I've got to say that your food is in some cases it's unique, and then when it's not unique, you get what you planned for, and it's fabulous.
And if it's not fabulous, let us know. Because it's an imperfection of a business, right? Just like everything else. And you know what? Things do happen, and mistakes do happen. But, you know, it's funny. I have a story to say. About a month ago, and you know, I look at Yelp all the time. About a month ago, I had a review, and I'm the first one that gets them and looks at them. And it was a guest that had been coming here for years, to Broderick, and she was a regular, and I guess, you know, last time she was here, it wasn't great, what happened, blah, blah, and she said, I'm never going back.
Ooh.
And that was like,
Yeah, that's wrenching.
well, just like so I reached out to her on the back end, and I gave her my personal number, and she ended up calling me, and I think I missed her call, and then she gave me her number, and I called her back, and we had a conversation, and it was this older woman that, you know, had been coming here for quite some time, and I'm like, look, like, whatever happened, we can fix whatever. And I think the biggest thing for me was like her saying she was never going to come back into a business that she had patronized for so long because of one bad experience. And
Wow.
and I'm like, look, you know, come in, I'd love to meet you, blah blah blah, we'll fix whatever happened. And she goes, well, and at the end of the conversation, she goes, well, did you call me for me to take off my review? I go, I could care less about the review. I go, I just want to back.
Oh, that's sweet.
And she ended up coming, we met, and
You made a new friend.
yeah, and it was just like, I don't care, but like, you know, like when you're here, we have staff here that cares and that will make whatever, you know, happen or whatever.
Make it right. Make it
And
right.
that's what's important to me,
Yep.
is making sure that the people that are here care enough about the guest experience and how do we do it right. So,
That's wonderful. Well, congratulations.
thank you so much.
It was so nice to get to know you. I really appreciate it.
Thank you so much.
If you or anyone else you know would like to be interviewed on A Few Minutes with Margy, please reach out to me, Margy Lyman, margy@beautiful.com. Thank you. Have a great day. Okay, now you're supposed to go off.